The following podcast will contain spoilers, tangents, hot takes, and excessive foul language. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy the show.
Greetings, horror fans, and welcome to episode 325 of Frightmares. I'm your host, Austin Proctor, and joining me today for 2001's Thir13en Ghosts is Gabrielle Proctor.
You do read good.
Yeah, Thir13en Ghosts.
Yeah.
That's what this title is.
It's like seven. It says seven.
Seven in. Yeah. Yeah, sure. The 3, yes, looks like an E, but the, I or the T as a 1.
I've seen people do trends of like times they just put a number in the name and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily make sense. Looks cool. But anyways, joking aside, yes, we are doing 13 Ghosts, and this is exciting because we both feel, well, I don't know. I know we both feel it's underrated in a certain capacity, but when it comes down to the actual ratings of this movie, I guess we'll see who thinks it's more underrated. Yeah. So going into the 2000s, it's a fun time, honestly. I've already been enjoying this year, or this decade, a lot. The 80s were fun. The 90s were, hit or miss. But 2000s is my sweet spot for horror. I know I do love the late 90s, early 2000s. We've discussed this on the last episode. So my brief history with this movie is this was a movie that I had seen a clip of when I was very young. I had a friend in the neighborhood who, he's just like those parents that just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Just don't give a shit. And we were riding scooters, as you do when you're, I don't know, this was 2001, so I was at least 11, maybe 12. And I was, I walked to the front door, knocked, and asked, hey, is Jake home? And happened to see, I don't know what scene it was. It was some crazy scene with insanity going on. I looked at that and I was like, ooh, I don't like that at all. Didn't ask what the movie was, wasn't interested. This was obviously, 3 or 4 years before I actually started to get into horror movies. But I had seen that and I was like, nope, don't want anything to do with that. And like I said, since I didn't ask what it wasn't until years later when I was watching the movie and I was like, holy shit, this is the movie from that kid's house back in my youth. And then, now it's just one of my favorite movies. So I wasn't interested, didn't want to ask what it was, didn't care. He may have told me what it was. I don't know. It might have been even on HBO. I don't know how they were watching it, but I saw it and all the flashing and the ghost, and I was like, no, I'm okay. Let's go ride scooters. It was also the middle of the day, too. Like, I watch horror movies in the middle of the day now, but, when I was a kid, I'm like, who the fuck sits down in the middle of the goddamn day to watch a horror movie? So, this is, I know I saw this one before Ghost Ship. And it wasn't until much later in life that I realized that those two were related by the same director.
Which, when you know that, you're like, how did I not put those two together immediately?
Yeah, how did I not figure that one out? And sadly, the only 2 movies he ever directed. For shame. Not his fault, obviously. Not his fault. Let me state that. It's the fault of the movies just utterly bombing. Did not do well at the box office.
Not appreciated in your time. I'm so sorry.
No, definitely not. So what is your history with 13 Ghosts?
Oh my God. So as you know, as a kid, I had a friend who watched horror movies and, Scream was one of the earliest horror movies I ever saw. It scared the hell out of me. Nightmares for years about that movie. And then as I got older, I had a friend who liked to watch scary movies. Those movies also scared me, except for Devil's Rejects. Okay.
You sick fuck.
It wasn't like ghost horror scary. It was more like, oh my God, these people, like in my mind, I didn't register that what Baby was doing
was
awful.
Yeah.
To me, she was being funny because I didn't get it. But she's laughing, so I'm laughing.
Kind of funny.
Yes, but not in the way that I thought she was being funny. So I just didn't get it. But I had a really heavy fascination with watching sci-fi. What was on sci-fi? I would be watching it. Twilight Zone.
Like the channel, sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, sci-fi.
Just specifying.
The channel.
Yes.
I always did the Twilight Zone marathons, would watch Xena on there, any horror movie they had on. But specifically, this movie, whenever this was on, much like the It TV miniseries, I would intentionally sit down and watch them knowing that it was going to upset me, knowing that it was going to scare me, and I was going to be very unhappy I did it, would always sit down and watch it anyway. The Jackal scared the absolute shit out of me.
Stop everything. Stop all we're doing, sitting down to watch this movie.
I'm sitting down to be upset, and then I'd have nightmares, and I'd be like, why do I keep doing this? So, it's on? Well, I better get the popcorn. I'm watching it. There were nights where I'd watch the It miniseries. I'd be sleeping on the floor in my parents' room. But this is, yeah.
You just had 3+ hours to kill for the It miniseries. I mean, I guess you were.
Again,
yeah.
I really liked watching sci-fi, and would watch whatever's on there. But that and this movie, I don't know why. I think I saw clips of it at one point, and I was like, "What is that? It's aesthetically pleasing to my eyes. Oh my god, it's horrible. Let's watch it again." Seriously, nightmares. And now I have a very deep love for this and Ghost Ship, and I can tell you for a fact, someone else who loves Ghost Ship, my dad. That opening sequence, loves that opening sequence.
Yeah, the problem with that movie is that opening sequence is great, one of the best in the horror genre. Hate the rest. Yeah, well, you know what? Whatever, dude. I'll defend.
The reveal was great.
I will defend both of these movies until I die. So
the fact that the opening was so good that they rehash it later in the what happened on this boat reveal. So good. I love that movie too, and I'll die on that hill. Y'all don't know how to have a good time.
I'll die on that house on Haunted Hill. I don't know what that had to do with anything. They're all Dark Castle movies, so that's that. So we will get to 13 Ghosts, but before we do that, we got to do this, and we got to do what did Jason Hill make me watch? This week, Jason made me watch The Forsaken. A young man gets embroiled in a war against vampires. The most vague summary I've ever heard in my life. So, going into this, I was like, okie dokie, we're vampires. Got it? Fucking Simon Rex is in this movie, and if you don't know the name Simon Rex, he played George the Rapper in Scary Movie 3.
I didn't see Scary Movie 3.
What?
Maybe. I don't know.
That's the best one. The one with the ever-growing, the sheriff with the big hat and the big hat.
Yes, I know, because you've mentioned it 400 times to me.
Okay, that's on the docket immediately. Okay, fine. I wish I wrote something else down he was in. Anyways, this is a early 2000s movie, as Jason has been picking movies from for the same year of each episode. Right away, I love the industrial metal that was going on. There's also some new metal in here as well. It's a pretty simple setup. This guy's delivering a car to a lady, gets a flat tire in bumfuck Egypt, runs into a vampire hunter who needs a ride. Bing, bang, boom. Pretty simple. It's
your
simple.
classic hitchhiking scenario.
Yeah, but it's weird because you don't know that he's a vampire hunter right off the bat. But when they run into an actual little group of vampires, one of them's like, that guy's a hunter. Why didn't you take him out? And it's weird that the vampire hunter's name is Nick. He doesn't come out and say what he does for way too long. And I'm like, what are you hiding from this guy? You've already told him vampires exist. What? I don't understand why you can't just say you're a vampire hunter. Nonetheless, the vampires don't seem to be affected by sunlight. Unless Simon Rex was not a vampire. Maybe he was the familiar. He might have been a familiar. But
That's possible.
He was in broad daylight, no problem. So I'm guessing he was a familiar and not a vampire, but I don't think they necessarily established that. One of them definitely gets burned in the sun. But then, yeah, like I said, Simon Rex's character driving around in broad daylight. They didn't really fully establish the lore, which for me, that's fine. They didn't talk about holy water. They didn't talk about crucifixes. Apparently, the only thing was sunlight. But again, I don't know how clear that was. The vampires do seem to have somewhat of a hive mind, though, which is really cool, where they can hear the master in their head and they can actually talk to him in their head, which I thought was really cool. I love that. Decent gore. One scene in particular got me real good. Couple good explosions. And what's really cool in this vampire lore is that the vampire hunter Nick was actually bitten by a vampire, and he has a way to stave off the infection. It's not something that's permanent, but he can use it for a long enough time, because what you have to do is you have to go and kill the vampire that bit you. And once you kill that, he said it was, I should have written down the word. It's like, there was a fun word for it, but basically if you kill the vampire that killed you, it's like and I don't know, something. So if you kill him, then you're good and you don't have the infection anymore. And I was like, oh, that's really fun.
That's similar to Lost Boys without the timeline of how they stave off feeding.
And there's a really cool twist at the end of the movie that happens with it that I won't reveal, but I really enjoyed this. I think this is an underrated vampire movie. And as we all know, not really huge into the lore, do like some movies, but Jason gave it a 2.5 out of 4. His review is, like if someone wanted to make John Carpenter's vampires with the teen/young adult audience in mind. Not bad though. My rating, 3.5 out of 5. It has a 2.7 out of 5 on Letterboxd, and you know me and my 2.7, 2.8s. Those are.
You love a 2.7.
I do love a 2.7 or a 2.8. Those are almost usually 3.5s to 4 stars from me. You can stream this on Tubi. Once again, that is The Forsaken from 2001.
Jason says, check it out. You'll probably hate it.
Side note, I looked up the photo of you were talking about. I recognize him.
Who? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, if you look up Simon Rex, you'll be like, oh, that guy.
Yeah. He was in an episode of that Florida Man show.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay. We got to finish that, by the way. Let's move on to the highest grossing movies of the year and Oscar winners as well. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or the Philosopher's Stone.
There's a shock.
Depending on where you are in the world, 1.02, I guess 03 if you round up, basically just over $1 billion. No shock there. Highest grossing horror movie of the year was Hannibal, bringing in $351.7 million, which is kind of awesome because Silence of the Lambs was also the highest grossing horror movie of that year. So good on you, Silence of the Lambs trilogy, because there's also Red Dragon. I know I haven't seen Red Dragon, but I don't know if I've seen Hannibal, honestly. I can't recall if I'm sure if I go to watch it, it might jog my memory, but I can't remember anything from it, so.
I've seen Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, you have.
And
that's enough.
Yep, done now.
So this is the 74th Academy Awards presented on Sunday, March 24th, 2002, honoring movies that were released in 2001. Best Actor goes to Denzel Washington for Training Day. Actor in a supporting role, Jim Broadbent for Iris. Whatever that is. Best Actress goes to Halle Berry for Monsters Ball. Actress in a supporting role goes to Jennifer Connelly for A Beautiful Mind. Cinematography goes to Andrew Lesnie for Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. No surprise there. Director goes to Ron Howard for A Beautiful Mind. Original musical score goes to Howard Shore for Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. And Best Picture goes to A Beautiful Mind. IMDb summary is, a mathematical genius, John Nash, made an astonishing discovery early in his career and stood on the brink of international acclaim, but the handsome and arrogant Nash soon found himself on a harrowing journey of self-discovery. So, I think I had seen this at some point, but I honestly might be confusing it with Good Will Hunting, which I'm also not sure if I've seen at this point.
Oh boy, those are wildly different films.
They both have math and stuff, right?
Oh, if we're just lumping in math movies.
Might as well throw...
Are you confusing it with Mean Girls, too?
Might as well throw 21 in there, that poker guy.
Where all the characters are white, but in real life they were all Asian? Yeah. I'm not making that up.
Oh, is that for real?
Yeah, they cast all white actors for a real-life story where they were all Asian.
Yikes!
Oh, no, I take that back. I think there was one Asian girl in the group.
Were all the Asians busy or something? What the fuck?
No, they just weren't white people.
Golly. So yeah, Beautiful Mind. I just guess I don't get the point. I know he had schizophrenia and he overcame it by not taking pills and was able to live normally. Like, I just don't know.
He overcame it by learning to differentiate and keeping a strict structured schedule in a small community where he had people to socialize with and keep a consistent routine to help him differentiate when things were out of the ordinary. That's how he did it. And that's how he did it in real life.
Yeah, see, I guess I didn't realize it was based on a real person until the end when I saw that. And I was like, well, that's very impressive with someone with that disease to do that. I don't know. I kept thinking I was just being gaslit the whole time. Like he was, like a Secret Service agent guy. I was like, I feel like I'm being gaslit. But then it ended and I was like, okay, maybe I'm not. I thought there was like a big twist at the end. But I mean, I guess there is the twist of, those people not being real. But for me, it was like, it's a good story. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a very well acted as well. I don't know. It wasn't, I don't really think it was a masterpiece of any sort, but I can't deny that it was a good film. It just, I don't know. There wasn't a lot because, it's 2 hours, 35 minutes. So it's a little long, and there wasn't really enough there to just keep me interested the entire time. There's definitely moments where I'm like, oh shit, okay. And, watching him deal with this is interesting, but I feel like there's a lot of lulls. There's a lot of just kind of exposition. I don't know. And I don't know how you feel. I'd love to hear your thoughts since you watched it with me. Maybe
I've seen it many times.
I don't know. I could be being very critical on this one. I'm not sure.
I really like it. First off, I think the score is beautiful. It was very well directed. Ron Howard deserved that Oscar.
Didn't realize by the way, sorry to interrupt. When I saw it directed by Ron Howard, I was like, really?
Yeah, I think it was funny when you saw Bryce Dallas Howard, and I was like, yeah, Ron Howard's daughter, and they're like, what?
I'm like, wait, really?
Yeah, the Howard thing I thought would give it away, and the fact that they're both gingers in Hollywood, the last name Howard.
Okay, I knew Clint Howard was related, but Ron Howard and him both look kind of doofy. Well, they do. I mean, am I wrong? They're kind of doofy looking guys. I don't see the relation between him and Bryce Dallas Howard, who is just strikingly beautiful. Beautiful, yeah. Sorry.
Well,
voice cut out there.
So yeah, I think it's a really interesting story watching this man try to thinking he's doing something so important only for everything his world is built on to come crashing down, and watching his wife struggle to stand by him when it feels like their relationship is just hanging on by commitment.
Yeah.
And yeah, I told you after they revealed it, like the people weren't real. I was like, it never occurred to me until we were watching it now, because I was younger when I saw it last, that his roommate, who's not real, mentions that he says something to the fact of at the beginning when they're in college, yeah, well, my niece is only this high and she knows that's true, and it's about waist high. She's small. Like 6 years later, he meets the niece for the first time. That's how big she is.
Yeah.
And that should be an immediate tip-off to you that she's not real, because she is the same. She is the height his delusion told him she was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And the fact that nobody interacts with these people. I noticed in the bar where he's playing pool with his roommate, so apparently he's just in that bar talking to himself.
That's fine.
That all of his other classmates show up and talk to him. Paul Bettany disappears. He is completely gone from the room until he is smacked by a woman at the far end of the bar. Then Paul Bettany shows up again, says something, slips out the door that somebody else opened. No one ever interacted with him. You don't even see them in the same shot.
It's like the Sixth Sense, okay?
Once you see it, you see it.
Well, yeah, you watch that, you don't realize it. Then you watch it again, knowing he's dead, and you're like, no one fucking talks to Bruce Willis. Like, it's right there in front of your face. Yeah, like I said, it's probably something watching again I might appreciate more. But as of right now, it stands at a 3.5 out of 5 from me. It has a 3.9 out of 5 on Letterboxd, and my review for this one is it's giving Charlie Kelly that time he and Mac got a job in the mailroom of that office.
Wow.
Well, because it's...
I know what you're saying.
When Jennifer Connelly opens the barn and it's just papers everywhere, and I was like, this is the Charlie Kelly conspiracy, because he's even seeing people too. The guy that gives him the cigarettes.
Yeah, it could have been a reference.
Maybe it was.
Because
shit, maybe it was.
It was probably a reference.
Damn, okay. So, what did you give it?
I think I gave it a 3.5.
Okay, so both have the same rating. All right, let's move on to the IMDb Roundup. This is 13 Ghosts from 2001, released on October 16th of that year in the USA. Perfect time for Halloween. Rated R for horror, violence / gore, nudity, and some language. Moderate sex and nudity, severe violence and gore, moderate profanity, no alcohol, drugs, or smoking, and severe frightening and intense scenes. Coming in at an hour and 31 minutes, listed as a fantasy horror. Directed by Steve Beck, who also directed Ghost Ship, and that's his only other credit for movies. So sad. Written by Neil Marshall Stevens, who also wrote Ragdoll and Hellraiser Deader. Also written by Richard Ovidio, who wrote The Call. And then 2 uncredited writers, Todd Alcott, who also wrote Ants, and James fucking Gunn.
Well, that's random.
Who wrote Scooby-Doo, Dawn of the Dead 2004, and of course Guardians 1 through 3. Composed by John Frizzell, or Frizzle, who also composed Alien Resurrection, Ghost Ship, and Stay Alive. Cinematography by Gail Tattersall, who also did the cinematography for Tank Girl, Ghost Ship, and 120 episodes of House.
That explains the flashes.
Edited by Derek Brecken, who also edited Stargate, Deep Blue Sea, and Doom, and also edited by Edward A. Warshilka, who edited Big Trouble in Little China, among many other John Carpenter movies, The Running Man and Child's Play 3, and a random produced by Robert Zemeckis.
Of course.
Produced this movie, who you might know from the Back to the Future trilogy. So that was random. Starring Tony Shalhoub as Arthur, who I assume is most known for Monk as Adrian Monk. We've got Embeth Davids as Kalina, who was also in Schindler's List as Helen Hirsch, and Miss Honey from
Matilda.
There we go. Matthew Lillard as Rafkin, who we all know as Stu Macher from Scream. Shannon Elizabeth as Kathy, who we should all know as Nadia from American Pie. And Raw Digga. Her name is Rashia Fisher as Maggie, who is primarily a hip-hop artist. This was really her only movie, and in fact it says introducing Raw Digga. But then she also was in a movie called Stars in 2023 where she played Oprah, and Rufus 2025 as Louise. So
I'm going to say that was her first acting role. She didn't do a bad job.
No, she didn't do a bad job at all.
She definitely was acting, which is not something I can say for everybody on their first film.
Estimated budget of $42 million, grossing $68.5 million, filmed in British Columbia, Canada, as I said there. You can watch this on Plex. Movies that came out around the same time, we've got Zoolander, Tremors Back to Perfection, Joyride, Max Keeble's Big Move, Serendipity, Training Day, Mulholland Drive, Corky Romano, Donnie Darko, Monsters, Inc., Shallow Hal, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Black Knight, that movie everyone forgot about until right now, and The Devil's Backbone.
I've seen 9 of these.
Oh my God. Is there less that you haven't seen?
Yeah.
Okay, so you haven't seen Joyride with, what's his face in it from Fast and Furious?
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So,
Haven't seen Max Keeble's Big Move?
I have.
You have?
Yeah, we were kids. It was a kids movie.
Haven't seen Mulholland Drive?
That's true.
Corky Romano?
No, I've seen that.
Okay. Black Knight?
No, I've seen that several times.
Just tell me the ones. I hate this game at this point. I can never get it right anymore. Which ones haven't you seen?
Devil's Backbone. Did I see Tremors 3?
We did a fucking podcast on the Devil's Backbone.
Did I?
Yes. It was me and you.
I don't remember that.
It's a Del Toro movie.
The Devil's
Oh my God. We got to get on to the movie review. Hurry it up.
Backbone.
Oh my fucking Christ.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I guess I've only not seen Mulholland Drive and whatever the hell the other one was.
Corky Romano. Joyride.
Yeah. I forgot we watched Tremors 3 too.
Wow.
I've seen most of these. Wow, look at me go watching movies.
IMDb summary. When Cyrus Kritikos, a very rich collector of unique things, dies, he leaves his house, fortune, and prized collection of ghosts. To someone? No? Okay. This is 13 Ghosts.
I represent the estate of your Uncle Cyrus.
We have an Uncle Cyrus?
Cyrus recorded this message 6 weeks ago. He asked it to be played for you in the event of his death.
Arthur, I've instructed my lawyer to deliver my last will and testament.
A key?
A key to what?
A key to your new house. This house is the fruit of my life's work.
Oh my God.
It is a one-of-a-kind home.
It's marvelous, isn't it?
Wow.
Arthur, we've got some papers to sign in the library. After that, I would love to take you and the family around the tour of the house.
This place is awesome.
All right, now I know I'm dreaming.
Well, your uncle was quite a collector of many things.
What the hell was that?
This Halloween,
you're wasting your time. It's all sealed up.
the only thing worse than being trapped in a house with a ghost.
This house is not a house. We're in the middle of a machine, powered by the dead.
Is being trapped in a house with 13 ghosts.
Maggie! What? We got company. Where? I can't see. How close is it? Close enough to hurt you. Go, 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 go!
Can I rely on you not to get me killed?
I guarantee you nothing.
So, Gabby, overall thoughts on 13 Ghosts?
I love this movie. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody can fight me. It's fun to watch. I like all the performances, and it's fun. Like the effects are great. It's an interesting story, a cool setup, and they really leaned into the aesthetic they were going for. So I have a great time every time I watch this.
Every single time?
Every single time.
Oh, let's see. Overall thoughts here for me is I think this is an incredibly underappreciated and underrated absolute ripper of a movie that barely relies on CG in the time when it was becoming way more popular and tells a killer story with solid actors of the 2000s. I will also die on this hill. So, yeah. So before we get into the format here, I did want to talk about the ghosts because there are, 12 of them, as you will know if you watch the movie. The first one being the firstborn son. Billy was killed by another child. Then we have the torso. Jimmy Gambino was killed by gangsters. The bound woman, her boyfriend killed her for cheating. We have the withered lover, which was Arthur's dead wife. The torn prince, killed in a car accident. The angry princess died by suicide. The pilgrimess was starved to death after being accused of witchcraft. And then you have 8 and 9, the great child and the dire mother. He and his mother were killed in a carnival. The hammer was killed by small-town racists. The jackal, a sexual predator before his death. And the juggernaut, a serial killer before his death. So those are the 12 ghosts because, as we all know, someone was supposed to be the 13th ghost.
Bum, bum,
Bum,
bum.
bum, bum. And I find it fascinating because I wanted to break this down because every time I've watched this, I guess it's just been kind of passively. I'm just there for the ghosts. I'm really not paying attention to the story. But of course, I had to pay attention to the story this time. And Sirius Criticos builds this Basilius, is that how you say it, Basilius?
Yeah.
Machine, which opens up the Ocularis Infernum, which would grant Cyrus powers from hell. The only way Cyrus could get the machine to work is if he had all the spirits of the Black Zodiac in the house. He gathered all the ghosts to achieve this goal, since the Oculus Infernum would only open if the machine were powered by the spirits. Their presence not only powers Cyrus's machine itself, but also helps power the mansion. All of the ghosts, too, are connected through their tragic past and deaths, dying in certain ways that fulfill criteria represented in their names, as I've already gone over. And then, of course, at the end, it's revealed that there are only 12 ghosts, despite the movie's title. Cyrus initially planned to force Arthur to sacrifice himself and become the 13th ghost, called the Broken Heart. The 13th ghost in 13 Ghosts can only be created by a person sacrificing themselves in an act of love, which Arthur was prepared to do for his family, but luckily didn't have to, and the entire Black Zodiac is unleashed to roam free once again. That is fucking killer.
Yeah.
That is such an incredible story that improves upon the original
By so much.
Vastly. Vastly.
The fact that I thought the plots would be sort of similar, and instead it's like, yeah, you've got the uncle, you've got a family. 13 Ghosts because there will be one? Oh, okay.
Question mark. Yeah, they just kind of seem to yada their way around the house looking at the ghosts. The ghost really didn't seem to give a shit if they were there or not in the original. And then it just ended. And I was like, okay.
So your uncle collects ghosts like Pokemon and also 13th Ghost. Be afraid. But these people are clearly all heavily medicated in that movie because they laugh stuff off and straight up just shake any paranormal disturbance off like it's nothing and go about their day like it's fucking Leave It to Beaver over there. They're like, well, I know that ghost tried to murder us, but I've got a pot roast in the oven, so
it's fine.
It's like straight up see a planchette float into the air and land in their a girl's lap. It's just a silly game. Like, bitch, what?
It's like, who's going to be killed first? Planchette moved to this lady. Well, don't ask it when. I don't want to know. Fuck that. I want to know. Tell me.
And now we're going to move on like nothing happened. Yeah. And
yeah.
The whole like guy dying and abruptly cutting to them counting money and laughing. You're just like,
what's happening?
But the real question is, why would you even have that bed? It's like Emperor's New Groove. Why do we even have that lever? Why do you have a bed that smushes people?
Yeah. Why do we even have that lever? I don't know. You know, it's funny because William Castle directed House on Haunted Hill, which I feel is superior to the remake. So I figured, hey, maybe the original 13 Ghosts is at least on par. Because, I mean, well, you know, a lot of people might like that one more because there is a lot of hate for the 2001 version. But I'm like, you know, maybe it'll be equal or it might even be better because House on Haunted Hill was so good. Of course, 13 Ghosts, 1960, does not have the star power of Vincent Price to drive the plot forward.
Facts.
And again, it just seemed like they were yada-yadaing their way around. Just like, ooh, good. I mean, now the effects were great. The effects were cool for 1960.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Those glasses were fucking silly, though.
I liked every time something was floating in the air, like the first time you see a fly flying around and it's clearly someone bobbing.
Yeah.
I was dying.
Yeah.
But it really is like someone wrote a family sitcom for the 60s where there's literally no substance, just conversation, and then also put some ghosts in there and never the twain shall make sense. Like the whole time you're like, I'm so lost as to why nobody seems to be permanently concerned about these ghosts. It's like they keep forgetting and no one has a sense of urgency.
Right. Yeah.
What's happening?
Happening? Gave it a 3.
Yeah, but them having the house cleaner that was
a witch.
A witch who was the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz.
Strange.
And the eye contact she made with the camera while she grabs a broom and does the little eyebrow thing, you're like, oh my God.
It's just, what are we doing here? What'd you give it?
I gave it a 3.
You're like, it's fine.
Was it bad? It was just very strange.
So, getting on to this movie, the movie at hand here, I do want to, we've switched up the format very slightly, and I just added something. I would like to talk about the opening scene in movies, if there is one to talk about, like this one specifically has a cold open. And you're just kind of thrust into this confusing situation with a whole team of people setting something up in this junkyard. Clearly, Cyrus is the ringleader who's on the search for his, the ghosts. Rafkin was there. And Rafkin is hired to obtain them. You've got Kalina there as well. It's just, what's going on? And you get enough context to understand by the end of the cold open, but I think the cold open fucking goes hard as fuck.
Yeah.
I think it's so good.
Yeah, it's violent, it's scary. There's a little bit of humor to it, but also mostly you're like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, you're just thrust into this situation of like, what the hell? Mm-hmm. So things that worked. Did you have anything else to comment before we moved on to things that worked?
Things that worked? No.
Okay. So things that worked. The family dynamic between Arthur, Billy?
Yes.
Kathy and Maggie is interesting but odd in a way. It's like Arthur's kids have this huge age gap because Billy or Bobby is like 6.
Yeah, he's 7, 8.
Shannon Elizabeth looks like she's 20, so I don't know what's going on.
She's
there.
supposed to be a teenager, however, she is way too developed to be playing a 17-year-old or 18. She could be maybe 19.
We've all seen you naked in American Pie, and it's very strange that your brother is 5. So it's very strange. And then they just have this house, Rodiga is the housekeeper, and I'm like, this is this is a weird family dynamic, but it weirdly works too. I don't know.
Like you believe their connection to each other.
Right.
But also it speaks to that, like, we've recently lost someone and we're not finding our footing, and we've gotten extra help to try to figure that out, but we're still not there yet.
Yeah, but
because it's only been 6 months.
Right. But it's weird too, because Arthur was struggling financially. So it's weird that he has money for a nanny.
He's struggling financially in that he's having a hard time paying for some things, but I'm guessing he probably has to pay for a nanny if he's maybe working more to try to cover those bills. And his kids have to go to school. I'm not entirely sure why his daughter couldn't watch her brother, but
that's what I'm saying. You have someone who can clearly watch the younger brother. I don't think Shannon Elizabeth or Kathy really needs anybody to watch over her. So I'm like, why do we have this housekeeper? So it's a little silly, but even beyond the family dynamic, I think everyone works chemistry-wise very well together. Kalina and Rafkin, all of them, once they get in the house together, I think they just have pretty electric chemistry, at least in my opinion. I think they're all playing off each other very well. And I mean, of course, the ghosts are amazing. So I mean, you can't deny how awesome the ghosts are. The early 2000s soundtrack is great. There's some new metal. There's just some good stuff going on. And the editing does fall victim to that, early 2000s technique, but it works for this movie.
I don't know why everybody's shading it. I like it. So
it works for this movie because it's using a lot of flashing and a lot of quick cuts and all that stuff. But for this movie, I think it works perfectly. Usually it's jarring or it can be perceived as just chaotic. But for some reason, this is one of those movies where I'm like, yeah, it might have that weird technique, but I don't know, it's working for me.
I think it works in this case because they tried to do so much practically that any effect they would have added to the ghosts to get them to move in a steady shot, I think would have cheapened that effect. Okay. So doing those little quick cuts where they can jolt them forward, I think makes it look creepier and more disconcerting, as opposed to having some sort of CGI effect to make them appear like they're floating or wisping around. I think it lends itself to the creepiness of the ghosts.
Well, yeah, and everything in this movie outside of the basilisk machine or whatever it's called, it's all practical. I mean, every single ghost is practical makeup. The house or whatever, wherever they shot this, it's all practically done. There's little to no CG outside of that machine at the end that's spinning around.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's, like I said, for a time when CG was becoming very popular, as we learned in House on Haunted Hill, 1999, that ending, very terrible. But this is keeping practical effects alive. I'm assuming it's because of the $42 million fucking budget and the fact that Robert Zemeckis produced this.
Well, and that's why I think this and Ghost Ship hold up so well.
Absolutely.
Because there was care in what they were doing. It wasn't what's the newest technology. It's how can we make this feel real? Like, I think that's what keeps the ghosts scary years later is they look so friggin' real. They don't look like CGI, so it feels more threatening when it's an actual thing in front of you. The torso is a man with no legs.
No
he
head.
really has no legs. Yes, he definitely has no head.
Well, I'm just saying in the movie.
Yes, but I'm saying in real life, they have a man who is a paraplegic. Not paraplegic. That's not right. Double amputee.
Oh, no.
Paraplegic is paralyzed.
Oh,
I said
yes,
the wrong
correct.
thing. Is a double amputee because they could just remove his head digitally and still get that effect. It looks so much more effective that way than trying to digitally remove someone's legs later. And where do they go if he's on the ground?
Correct. Yeah. No, I think, and that's what I think is cool about Dark Castle Entertainment is the fact that Dark Castle Entertainment was, I don't know if because William Castle directed some of these original movies, and I know Dark Castle Entertainment was made to remake some of his movies because, I mean, I guess they're still around. I didn't think Dark Castle was still around. Okay, but House on Haunted Hill was the first movie they made, then 13 Ghosts and Ghost Ship. And then they did like House of Wax, Return to House on Haunted Hill. So they're clearly Wow, or they did Orphan too. So they clearly care about making a movie look good as opposed to just pumping a movie out and trying to do it cheaply. They clearly care, which is what I love about Dark Castle. And I do agree, the ghosts still look terrifying to this day because there's so much practical effects, and the same thing that goes with the set. The set is all built for this movie. There's nothing, just like House on Haunted Hill. I mean, it's such a good set. I mean, you get like these kind of industrial gothic vibes of the house, but it's also a completely clear glass house, and then it moves around with all the metal and stuff and doors and stuff open. It's a fascinating set. It looks really cool. So you put all that together and you have a movie that stands the test of time, because really there's not much that dates this movie. It's timeless in a sense. Obviously the wardrobe and the music, sure. You can be like, yeah, this is probably early 2000s.
Excess by Tricky is timeless.
But for the most part, you know, it might be hard for someone to date this movie if you're just thrown into the parts with the house, because I mean I do think it's timeless in a sense.
Yeah.
So
they don't do a lot that dates it in a really heavy way. It's more like these are just things that existed at the time, less like heavy product placement or things like that make it hard to unsee.
Right, yeah, like the product placement of the Blockbuster tapes in House on Haunted Hill, and that that camera that really tells you what time this movie was made. So yeah, that's what I think works a lot about this movie. I do love, this is hilarious to me, the lawyer that completely downplays what Rafkin said, but knows exactly what's going on, is hilarious to me. He's trying to be like, oh, this guy's been bothering our department for weeks and blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh, he's in on this. What a fucking asshole. And something that I noticed the first time, because like I said, I've just watched this so passively, is that when the lawyer goes to pick up the money, it's on levers that release all the ghosts. I never noticed that.
Yeah, all the dum-dums working with Silas are literally, he didn't give a shit about them.
Cyrus?
I thought what I said.
You said I thought you said Silas.
I meant Cyrus, sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, the whole like, ha, I did my job, I'm leaving. Man's too dumb to really like think, if he's screwing over his own family, maybe I should be suspicious.
Yeah, and then he splits, so it's a good time. Yeah, and then so yeah, I thought that was really funny, and I've already mentioned how the main core of the movie is just fucking brilliant. I love how they say Cyrus had a nasty habit of enslaving souls, and you're like, okay. Kalina, and then there's even that other great twist, because I mean the lawyer working with him wasn't necessarily a twist, but then you have the twist of Kalina wanting to set them free, like, I want to help, I want to do this. Psych, she's actually working with Cyrus the whole time. And also psych, Cyrus isn't dead as he was portrayed in the beginning of the movie. He faked his own death, and now he's coming back at the end. And I just thought that was so funny. You get like a double twist right there when Cyrus walks up to Kalina and then they make out and you're like, oh, all right.
He's not attractive, honey.
He's really not. But it's cool because they have this book called the Arcanum, which was made by some dude way back when in the 15th century, an astrologer named Basilius. He's described of making a machine that can see into the future. He wrote it while he was under demonic possession, and Cyrus built this machine in the house. It's designed by the devil, powered by the dead. It's so fucking good. Like, it's so good.
10 out of 10 on the upgrade for the illustrations and designs of the ghosts between films, because the illustrations from the original movie were just so like, I guess that's kind of people-shaped.
Well, and I think what's really cool is I definitely felt they used some of them, and I don't think they were beat for beat, but there was one guy that was missing a head, and I was like, okay, that's the torso. So I think they used some of the ones from the original, but definitely not all of them. And
I think there were nods to the designs, but 0% connected.
Right.
And the designs that they have are so good, and I really like that they weren't, they just happened to find the ghost that looks exactly like this picture. It was a person's ghost who fits that profile. Mm-hmm. And I think that was a really cool idea.
Yeah, and you don't get any names of I think you might get a couple names of the ghosts in the original, but there's no like real backstory or Anything?
It's just like, I think this guy was the lion tamer because they got a ghost lion.
Yeah, the ghost lion was really cool. But yeah.
Also, what?
Yeah, but just watching that and knowing this movie, I'm like, this is how you remake a movie. This is exactly how you remake a movie, because the original, not so great. The 2001, like I said, I will defend this movie to the day I die. I think it's great. They obviously, modernized the glasses, which look way better in this one. And they have some lights around the eyes and stuff like that. I just think that's such a fun idea of like putting on these glasses and you can see the ghost. Like, that's a really fun idea.
No, I think that's so cool.
I think that's very cool. And it is kind of funny how they are just scattered around the house and people happen to, put them on and be like, oh shit, there's ghosts everywhere. So yeah, I really like that. It's a fun addition and actually gives you a chance against getting away from the ghost as opposed to just getting murderlated. So yeah, what do you got over there?
For what worked?
Yeah, what worked?
Pretty much everything we talked about. The effects for the practical effects, mostly around like the makeup of the ghosts and whatnot. Those were excellent. The design of the ghosts are extremely well done. They feel cohesive, but still individual. You can easily pick out who's who.
Oh yeah.
But you feel that they have their own backstories. And what was the other thing I wrote? No, I mostly wrote that because we talked about everything else. The ghosts themselves are what make this movie unique and special. I mean, them and Matthew Lillard, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, and that's what I find interesting about the ghosts, because they all do vibe similarly, but you're right, they all have their own thing going on.
Like all these ghosts came from the same ghost design, but you can tell they're individual people.
Right, yeah.
Not just vague ideas.
And they all have very vastly different looks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting twists and turn in this movie, especially when everyone's like, wait, there's only 12. Why is there only 12? And then they reveal the 13th ghost is a sacrifice. I mean, there's a few twists in this movie. There's quite a few if you think about it. And yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily get the hate for this movie. I'm not sure if it's the editing. I just don't know what it is.
From what I got, yeah, it was a lot of the editing.
That's what Spencer and I were talking about on the last episode, is how important editing is to movies and how you will notice bad editing and how you don't really notice good editing because it just looks good. But it's a very, like I said, it's very of the time of the early 2000s. And typically I'm not usually into editing like this, but I think in this instance, it works. There are a lot of flashing, frames and a lot of stuff like that, which if you're watching this at night and your TV's on max brightness, you might go blind. But I still think it works very well for this movie. And it's just you're in and you're out. It's an hour and 30 minutes. You got a basic setup. And 75% of the movie is them running away from ghosts. And there's not a lot of kills, but there are a lot of fun, creative kills. Like the guy, getting sliced in half. That is one of the greatest looking kills to this day still. And it's 25 years old. I think that's just a massive, or 24 years old. It is like wildly impressive because they did most of that practically. I mean, all of it practically. I still don't know how. Because it looks so convincingly real. I would love to talk to the not wardrobe, but special effects guy on that one. So most of this movie just works for me. I don't really have anything that holds me back, which might make me rate it higher. I don't know. I don't know that, because I try to weigh that in when I'm giving my rating. Like, how much of this movie did I not like, and how much of what I didn't like deserves knocking off? Because usually, movies will start at 5 stars for me, and then it kind of just gets knocked down from there if things don't end up working out. Or sometimes I'll start at a half star and work my way up. It just depends. So there's really not much for me that doesn't work. The little bit of CG that is in there isn't the greatest, but honestly, it really holds up. The only thing that's just not that great is Cyrus's kill when he gets split in half. You're like, ooh, man, that's a little wonky. But even the CG that they have in there works very well, because I think it's supposed to look like this practical machine, and it's gears and all that stuff. And really, when you're seeing it, you're only really seeing that in frame. So it's not like you're having someone pass in front of it and you can be like, oh, that's clearly digital. There are some high shots of it with people on the ground, but they're so far in the back and everything is glass. So for some reason, most of the CG that is in there works, but there are just a couple wonky bits where you're like, yeah, okay, this is clearly not the greatest. Maybe you can answer this question. I'm not entirely sure how the house chooses to open certain rooms at certain times. I know it's all timed and they release one ghost at a time, but then there's times where it all just shifts. Even Kalina says, I happened to slip in. Yeah, I mean, she was probably in there the whole time, I guess.
I think she's probably lying.
Maybe she was lying. But yeah, I just didn't really understand. Was it random? Was it on some sort of a timer?
It's literally just the mechanism working into place. That's it.
Because I guess it just kind of seemed weird to release them all one by one. Why didn't you just do them all at once so they could? I don't know. So that was just a little strange to me. And then
we don't know how the design works, so we can't really comment on why they have to get released one-on-one.
And I'm glad that they don't go that deep into the lore with it. They give you enough of how it was made and that Cyrus recreated it with this book. But yeah, if they were to go into like specific details, it would have just not worked. So there are definitely some things I have questions about, but getting the answer, I've learned that sometimes less is more in situations like this. Because I've gotten an explanation one time in a movie. There was an example I had where I was like, you know what? I wish I didn't have that. So, but other than that, like those are really the only things that, quote, didn't work, but they're very minimal.
Yeah.
What about you?
Really only had two things. One is that I feel like they really only gave a few ghosts majority screen time, and some ghosts get so minimal screen time that I wish they had balanced it out a little more. This is why I'm personally excited for the TV series they're working on, because it's supposed to focus on each of the ghosts. But yeah, I really just wish that there had been some more balance, because there are some characters you only get very, very briefly, if at all. Like the mother and son, you barely see them.
They're barely in there.
So yeah, I really just I would have liked to see how those other ghosts would be realistic threats.
Mm-hmm.
And then my other one is really just a silly thing, which I mentioned to you while we were watching the movie. Kalina brought whatever the hell she needed for this, which included those silver sulfate flare things to deter the ghosts, which makes sense because whether or not you're in the plan, you still got to protect yourself. And we paused when she pulled the recording out, which is the drawing spell. What?
I'm waiting for you to say it because it's just funny.
We noticed she was bringing the drawing spell to draw them to the mechanism, to where they needed to be in the mechanism, because they've established their spells and the ghosts have to obey. No one was with her. Why the fuck did she bring dynamite? There was literally no reason to bring it. And you had said, well, maybe so she could pretend. Pretend what? It's not like people reasonably think, oh, someone would just, who brought the dynamite to this event? There was literally no reason. She was never going to use it.
Well, maybe that was the fail-safe,
Given her approach after she gets, links up with Cyrus, 0% chance she was ever going to use it. So it's just girl, what did you bring that for?
She had cartoon sticks of dynamite. Where are you getting that from?
Really though, because what she did was bring an explosive into a glass house that reasonably, if someone else got out of her bag, could have fucked up their entire plan. If the kid didn't know that was real, or what the extent, which would be extremely normal for a kid of his age to not get the depth of, he could have thought it was a fucking firecracker. And kids are stupid enough to light that
Bobby.
stuff. Great, you just blew up the mechanism because you brought dynamite?
She had enough dynamite to make a fucking quarry. There was so
much dynamite for no reason.
It was so much.
Which I've seen it so many times, and last night I was like, wait.
But why?
Why does she have dynamite? Why is she Wile E. Coyoteing this shit right now?
Meep, meep. Yeah, so.
Yeah, that was my other what didn't work for me thing.
All right, so hot takes here. 3 of them, but you know at this point. I know one of them is definitely going to upset you. So I'll go on record by saying the horror movie soundtracks slapped the hardest during this time. New metal, industrial metal, fucking the best. The best. This movie also fucking slaps, and I'm tired of it not getting the respect it deserves. This movie is a banger. And then I like Matthew Lillard's performance more in this than I do Scream. That's how I feel.
That doesn't make me mad. I don't necessarily disagree with that because I realize that when he gets manic towards the back half of Scream can be a lot for some people. I get why he's doing it, and I fully support that performance.
Yes.
But I understand that this might be a little more, there's a little more meat on the bones of his performance. Like there was a point where Matthew Lillard, they're laughing at him for the ghost, and he says, "Hey, don't do that. Don't do that." And you can feel the pain of him saying that, knowing he spent his entire life likely being ridiculed and made fun of and bullied and probably hurt because no one believed him. And you can hear that little twinge of pain. So he gave an excellent performance.
Yeah, that's something you pointed out that really was not necessarily a throwaway line, but when you really listen to how he said that, you can absolutely, like, his delivery on that line was excellent. But yeah, and again, let me state that I understand what he's doing in Scream. I respect it. It's just too much for me. I don't like when he gets all fucking Looney Tunes. That's just me. So I prefer his performance in this. Any hot takes from you?
Yeah, my hot take is Kalina is an idiot. The fact that she's like this cool, badass, I want to call her a ghost hunter, but she's like a hippie ghost hunter because we're setting them free. But then the second she links up with Cyrus, sniveling, whiny, codependent. Why are you mad at me? Like,
that
girl,
please
what?
Don't
like,
do that again.
It's like she had like this personality flip. Okay, no one's
told me to
around.
do.
Now I can be sad, girl. It was I was like, girl, that is a hit to feminism. What are you doing? He's not even attractive.
I need to make a meme that says my two personalities and put Miss Honey and Kalina next to each other.
There's like, it was such a hard flip. I really wish they had at least thrown in a line or two of why she would even work for him. Because again, he's not attractive. He's not nice.
Some women are attracted to men in power. Like, I mean,
guess so, but
also, don't you dare disrespect F. Murray Abraham, okay?
No.
What?
And the fact that she knew he was willing to put children in danger, would be very aware of saw what happened to the lawyer, knew he was going to kill his family, much like the lawyer. How did you not even take basic safety precautions? Why is it in every movie when someone's the double agent, they never think that they're expendable? Like, are you a stupid person?
Yeah.
Because if they're willing to betray other people, why do you think you're exempt?
Driven by money, greed, obsession,
bro's got to be rocking something special in his pants for her to drop that, shift that hard.
Just say when. Hooked for me, cold open. It's too fucking awesome to not be interested right off the bat. I'm in right from the get-go, and then they contrast that immediately with the family dynamic. Great way to just open it with something crazy, bring it back down, establish some exposition, then ramp it the fuck up. This is a perfect example of just slowly ramping up and then just excelling to the finish line. Perfect example. So,
yeah.
Hooked for you?
Immediately.
Yeah. Lost?
Never.
Okay.
Yeah.
Horror moment for me is when the jackal's running down the hallway, but the camera is like flipped upside down.
Oh yeah,
it's like and then the jackal's just running. And no, I'm good. Horror moment for you.
I mean, outside of all the ghosts, because most of the ghost introductions scare the hell out of me. When that truck comes around the corner in the beginning and just starts spraying blood everywhere, you're like, what? Because he's like, bait, blood. Love it.
It's like he's chumming for fish. Favorite kill, 1, 2, 3, lawyer. Wow.
That's actually my second favorite.
What? Oh, shit. Okay, well, yeah, mine's The Lawyer split in half. It's fucking good. What's yours?
The guy getting dragged up the pile of trucks and folded in, or cars getting folded in half and sucked in.
That's
They're just like, oh my God, that can't be good for your spine.
You gotta really get that good back crack
full
in.
Sandwich backwards.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Freddy vs. Jason. When they fold them backwards, you're like,
Yeah,
dead.
that's a good one.
You're either dead or you're really, really wishing you were.
Favorite character? Matthew Lillard. Okay.
Duh.
Yeah. Least favorite.
Literally said, I wrote Dennis. Duh.
Dennis Rafkin. Least favorite character is fucking Bobby. He's given future serial killer vibes, and I hate every word out of his mouth. Horrible waste of a kid death that they didn't do. Terrible. Not a fan of Bobby.
I like Bobby just fine. I think he's a kid, but kids get into weird phases with death. I mean, my goddaughter also got into a weird thing where she's like, people die. Like, oh, okay.
I see evil in that kid's eyes.
No, it's just like, there's a point where kids learn about death, and this kid lost his mom, and now he's just trying to make sense of that reality. And I think it's kind of funny. Karina, because seriously,
Kalina.
Damn, I've meant to.
Silas, Karina.
I typed. I'm just switching letters.
Just switching the letters of two people.
I wrote Kalina. She really dropped the ball for feminism in the end.
God, yeah, she really did.
Yeah.
Groveling. Favorite line from Matthew Lillard, of course, is, did I say there was a petting zoo downstairs? No, there are ghosts downstairs, Arthur.
That is the best line.
Fucking love that line.
Yeah.
Same for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Random thoughts here. I only had 2 for this one. Obviously, I didn't put any expectations down because I had seen this before. Expectations are going to be basically exclusively reserved for movies I haven't seen. So, random thought. If someone gave me a house that was made all out of glass, I'd put it on the market immediately. Absolutely fuck that with no privacy. I don't care how far out into the woods it was. Also, it was kind of bullshit for everyone to blame Rafkin when it was really Cyrus's fault. All of this was going down. They were all pointing the finger at Rafkin. It's like, bro, I'm fucking trying to help. Okay.
Yeah, well, since the uncle was dead, it's really a fall guy kind of situation.
They just pointed the finger at Dennis so fast. It's like, poor Dennis. Or Dwayne, or whatever his name was.
Dennis.
Dwayne Rafkin.
Good old Dwayne.
Random thoughts for you.
Matthew Lillard can get it, especially in that knit sweater and plastic coat.
Wow. Okay.
I'm not the only one who's thought that. I've actually seen that orange cable knit or knit sweater he's wearing in the beginning. Like, nice, Matthew Lillard. I told you 2000s Matthew Lillard's hot. I watched an entire movie that had nothing to do with him just because of a fan edit of him in that movie where I was like, damn, Matthew Lillard looks hot. What movie is that?
Now I know what to ask for Christmas.
Matthew Lillard?
No, I was going to go with the sweater, but all right.
Please buy an orange knit turtleneck.
To wear around in Florida.
Just roll in the house. Hey, what's up? Is this working? What you got? I got my plastic raincoat on. What's up?
Got to get those glasses, too. Any other thoughts on 13 Ghosts outside of the fact that it absolutely slaps?
I think y'all need to rewatch it and reconsider your opinions, because if they're not good opinions, they're wrong opinions.
Oh, wow. That's your hot take. There you go. All right, moving on to post-review stuff here. Taglines. Terror has multiplied. Misery loves company. What's more terrifying than a ghost? 13 of them. There are ghosts around us all the time. Most of them don't want to hurt us, but there are exceptions.
Well, that's long-winded. ...
Put that on a poster. And terror wants company. Trivia, Herbert Duncanson, who plays the Hammer, was not originally hired as an actor for the film, but as a stand-in reference for test shots. When the original actor cast for the role never showed up, he was given the role of that ghost as a last-minute replacement, as there was no time to hold auditions for a recast. So there you go, Herbert Duncanson.
Good for him.
That's what happens when you show up.
And he's very memorable.
Very memorable. The effect for the torso was achieved using a double amputee. Correct. All right, we nailed it. Or you did. Wearing a special black hood that could be used to digitally remove his head. In the movie, the characters need special glasses to see the ghosts. In the original 13 Ghosts, viewers needed special glasses to see the ghosts. That was repetitive. This is one of the few... I'm going to take that out.
Oh, sorry. That should be explained. You got glasses to see the movie. Like, they gave you glasses in the movie theater, like 3D glasses. That's
not in the 60s.
Yeah, not in the same set, not like in the Jaws 3D kind of way, but you got those paper glasses to see the ghosts. That was a thing.
Oh, wait.
So that's what they're saying. In the 1960s.
Oh, viewers needed.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, I should. That's just phrased in a odd way.
Yeah, no, it is phrased because that was like, wow, this is the same thing. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So anyways, I'll keep that in. The budget, opening weekend box office gross, and box office gross overall of this film are virtually identical, within $1 million, to that of House on Haunted Hill 1999, which opened almost 2 years earlier. Both films were adapted from stories written by Rob White and originally directed by William Castle. Warner Brothers and Dark Castle Entertainment originally planned to release this film in 3D and carry over the gimmick from the original 13 Ghosts 1960, where viewers needed glasses to see the ghost in the film, but such plans were scrapped. I think that would have been fun, but it absolutely would have detracted now.
Oh, absolutely.
At the time, fuck yeah. Now, no. Goofs, a crew member with a clapboard, can be seen very fleetingly during the bloody bathroom scene. A clapperboard can be seen when Bobby is lured downstairs. Apparently the clapperboard guy was fucking up. When the house starts to transform inside, a pair of hands of the crew can be seen pushing one of the doors when it's supposed to close automatically. Dennis said that the walls of the house were soundproof, but when he is trapped in a room with one of the ghosts, Maggie is yelling at him to move and duck. He can clearly hear her, and she can hear him, even though it's supposed to be soundproof. And then lastly, it is established that Arthur... Yeah, I already said that. It's established that Arthur has no money, has past due bills, cannot afford a bigger house, and is a math teacher, but how does he afford a live-in nanny? Rated 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb. 2.7, fine, out of 5 on Letterboxd. A 19% on the tomato meter, fuck you critics, and a 49% audience score. What the hell?
Yeah.
I'm placing a lot of faith in you right now. What did you give this?
4 stars.
Fucking yes, I gave it 4 as well. So that's a Frightmare certified. Slap. Similar movies according to Letterboxd. These actually link up very well. Insidious, The Haunting 1999, The Woman in Black, House on Haunted Hill, and The Conjuring. No, that's the next one that link up very well. Disregard what I said. That's for the next movie. Similar movies according to IMDb. We have Ghost Ship, House on Haunted Hill, House of Wax, 13 Ghosts 1960, and Jeepers Creepers. Let's do some funny reviews.
It's kind of hard to find those because people were crapping on the movie so much.
I've got enough, probably.
Well, I've got like 2.
All right, I've got 4. I'll go first. 3 stars from Justin DeClue, in parentheses. The editor leans forward in his chair, puts his hand under his chin, and nods thoughtfully. Quote, but what if we added 1,000, I don't know how many percent that is, 1,000,000% more flash frames?
3 stars from Jade. I'd let that one lady ghost kill me with no hesitation.
3.5 from Madeline. If I was one of those ghosts, I'd be pissed being trapped in a house that ugly.
2 stars from Cameron Fetter. The Jackal is the coolest thing you can name a character.
That's fair. I'm actually getting a tattoo of him on my leg. Very excited. 3 stars from Justin LaLiberty for a movie that's basically Event Horizon with Monk and Shaggy fighting the ghosts of Hot Topic. It's not that bad. Jesus. And lastly, 4 stars from Haley. This and Ghost Ship both hold a special place in my heart. I don't care how bad they are because I will always love them. Thank you, Haley. Love it.
At least somebody knows.
At least somebody gets it. If you enjoy the show, please rate and review on your favorite podcast app of choice. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Slasher, Blue Sky, Threads, and YouTube at Frightmare's Podcast. Our email is stayspooky@outlook.com. You can also follow me personally on Letterboxd at Dr. Proctor. You are
Watson LMP90.
Booyah! Don't forget to go follow our sister podcast, The Shameless Picture Show, hosted by Michael Vyers, and also check out the Dead-Eyed Millennial Podcast. 2 things I edit because I just have all the time in the world, apparently. Next week, my newfound friend from TikTok, Derek something. I can't pronounce his last name because it's got a lot of E's and I's and R's. So Derek F, I'm going to say that. If you're listening, I failed you, which you are. We're going to be doing Ghost Ship from 2002. There's a shock because we had to do those back to back.
Well, duh.
So until then, stay tuned and
stay spooky.